about their history, most members of the historical profession, that is, most of us and our colleagues, wring our hands about popular history in the hands of David McCullough, Doris Kearns-Goodwin, the late Stephen Ambrose, Ken Burns, the History Channel, and Mel Gibson. And then we return to writing monographs and journal articles for specialists and graduate students. We leave the immense treasure trove of human history to novels, movies, and television specials, complain to our students and colleagues that this kind of history is melodramatic, simplistic, and sentimental, all the while hankering for some of the money that the popularizers earn, while offering little in its place. The divorce between academic and popular notions of history is nowhere more disturbing to me in recent years in matters of war and peace, civil liberties and national security, civil rights and social change. Elected officials, reporters, and pundits serve up dangerous and misleading ideas under the guise of historical lessons, frequently treating history as what the late William Appleton Williams once called a grab bag of justifications for present policies. Despite this enormous divide, few history departments reward the public intellectual work of their members. Most look askance at such efforts when they do not ignore it outright, and some pointedly discourage junior faculty, especially from engaging the public in favor of the real work of research and writing for other historians. There is a rich vocabulary to denigrate such work, pandering, pablum for the masses, dumbed down history, storytelling, or polemics. And yet in our profession, there have always been folks who have been willing to risk professional opprobrium to speak to the larger public. In this century, the line includes Charles Beard, Richard Hofstadter, and Arthur Schlesinger, and most notably, I think, Howard Zinn. But also, in my own generation, Jackson Lears and Sean Wilentz. But most of these folks, even when they do very good work and have enormously important things to say to the general public, they generally do so from the relatively comfortable purchase of tenured positions in universities. It may not be an accident, because Jonathan Zimmerman does have tenure at NYU, but I was the only tenured member of the roundtable discussion. I'm sure we could have found more, but I think it's actually a harder search in some ways. Our idea for this roundtable was to chart some of the opportunities that exist in today's media-saturated world to bring historical ideas grounded in scholarship to the general reading and film-going, TV-watching, and web-surfing public. All of us around this figurative table, and I trust some of you as well, have made public intellectual life central to our professional lives and plan to share some of our experiences writing for newspapers, speaking to a wide range of popular audiences. Each of us will have some concrete advice about how to engage the public and our students in these ways and how not to, in the hope of inspiring colleagues who have wondered about how to do this kind of work, but might have been afraid to ask, worried that it might compromise their professional soul, or simply did not know how to begin. We will also be prepared to discuss our experiences helping our colleagues understand and value this unorthodox historical work. I've been doing this for 20 years, off and on, and the price hasn't gone up. It's true. In most places it's gone down without even talking about inflation. And many papers pay different contributors different amounts. The Miami Herald, where I lived for a while, used to pay me $150 a piece. A couple of years ago they simply stopped paying. The editor was embarrassed, Night Reader was squeezing more and more before it sold the chain, and he no longer had a budget to pay contributors. The Philadelphia Inquirer started off paying me $200 a piece. My wife started writing under a different editor a few years later, and he paid her $100 or $150, and made for some interesting conversations around the kitchen table. I don't know what Newsday pays folks now, but because I started with them a long time ago, I still get $250. But if they had their druthers, it would be $150 or less. The Hartford Courant pays $80 for an op-ed, $150 for a weekend cover piece. At least that's what I get paid. More famous folks, I think, almost certainly get more. I don't know, because most of us don't talk about it. So we don't really know. It's not a lot of money, but it is fun to get paid for your writing. It rarely happens in academia, and sometimes it's nice, fun money, and it's going out to dinner money, and plus you had your byline in the local newspaper. And your university communications department loves it. Totally loves it. And pretty soon they want your names, they can be sure to refer reporters to you, and they love it, and they push it around the university. My university does a little thing called U-Notes, or University in the Media, and they are delighted with me, and they can't wait to put my stuff out. So I always hear about it from folks in my university, which is kind of a nice thing. Now, I should say before, not only newspapers, I had a copy of it here, but I want to say a word about the Chronicle of Higher Education, which has just revamped the Chronicle Review. If you're not quite ready to go to local newspapers and you prefer a slightly more academic form of prose, think about the Chronicle Review, and I'll tell you the name of the editor that I work with. Some of you may know her, Karen Winkler. Karen.Winkler at chronicle.com. Karen's a terrific editor. She's always interested in pieces. She comes from a long line of historians. Her brother is Alan Winkler. Her father was a historian. She understands history. She likes historians, and she likes running historians in the Chronicle Review, and they also pay. They've also recently revamped the Chronicle Review. She's pretty excited about it. It's got a range of different writing in it. So pick up a copy, get the one at your office, but it's a great way to try it. The first time I wrote for them, it was a huge circulation. The first time I wrote for the Chronicle, I heard from more friends than I have anything else that I'd written in the public sphere. So it is a great place to write. It's serious intellectually, and people get into debates with